On the settlement Xenovis IV-2, there was one unwritten rule. Never approach the dens of the Felkars after nightfall. Lyra Kaiden broke that rule 3 months ago, and it saved her life. Now, as the midnight frost settled over the crystalline forests, she sat by a glowing fire in the den of Leader Grom, watching his 3 cubs play, tugging at a piece of dried meat. The massive wolf-like creatures, each already the size of a grown human, growled and tumbled across the stone floor with delight. Their father had gone hunting at sunset, entrusting Lyra, a human, with the care of the young. For her, it was an honor that had seemed impossible when she first crashed on this world. Felkars were apex predators, intelligent and territorial. Most settlers feared them, but Lyra learned their language, the language of growls and gestures, proving her worth when she healed Grom's mate before her death from infection. The leader accepted her into his pack, a strange arrangement that puzzled even her own kind. The cubs calmed, their glowing eyes dimming as sleep approached. Lyra wrapped herself tighter in her thermal blanket, her breath steaming in the cold air. She was unarmed. Grom had forbidden weapons inside the den. Here, trust was absolute, or it didn't exist at all. The first sound came at 12:17 on her chrono, scratching on the stone too deliberate to be the wind. Lyra snapped her head up. The cubs' ears twitched, their eyes flaring yellow. The den's entrance suddenly exploded. 4 figures in tactical gear burst inside, aiming plasma rifles. They were poachers. Lyra recognized the insignia of Tauren, traders in Felkar hides and cubs on the black market across the galaxy. 3 were teenagers, 1 in command. No adults. An easy raid. Lyra slowly rose, standing between the intruders and the cubs. Her heart raced, but her voice was steady. Leave now. The leading poacher, scarred and cold-eyed, laughed. A human playing the mother to these monsters. She raised her rifle. Leave, or we put you down with them. Lyra did not move. Behind her, she heard the frightened squeals of the cubs turn into low, defensive growls. They're inexperienced. Against armed adults, they won't survive, Lyra said, her voice trembling with resolve. A last warning, said the poacher. Lyra grabbed a burning branch from the fire and flung it into the woman's face. Chaos erupted. The poacher recoiled, cursing, and Lyra charged forward. She had almost no combat experience beyond basic colony training, but she had something these mercenaries lacked: desperation fueled by love. She collided with the nearest poacher, knocking him to his knees. The rifle slipped from his grasp. She grabbed it but didn't know the biometric lock code. It was useless. A heavy kick to her chest sent pain exploding through her ribs, and Lyra rolled across the stone floor. The cubs leapt at the attackers, teeth and claws flashing, but their actions were chaotic. One poacher unleashed a shock net, sparks flying. The youngest cub screamed, tangled in the mesh. No, Lyra shouted. She grabbed a loose stone and threw it at the poacher's helmet. A few seconds. She crawled toward the trapped cub, her fingers burning as she tore the electric net away. A sharp blow from a rifle butt, pain in her shoulder, vision blurred. Strong hands lifted her, a cold barrel pressed to her temple. Foolish human, hissed the leading poacher. Lyra closed her eyes, not in surrender but to listen. Under the poacher's breath, under the cub's cries, she heard a low, resonant roar that made the stones vibrate. A sound promising vengeance and destruction. Grom had returned. The den's entrance darkened under a massive figure. Grom stood over 3 meters at the shoulder, silver-black fur bristling, eyes burning like twin fires, his muzzle still stained with blood from the hunt. He immediately understood the situation. Cubs in danger, a human member of the pack wounded. The temperature in the den seemed to drop. The poacher holding the rifle didn't finish her attack. Grom moved with impossible speed for such a giant. His jaws clamped onto the woman, flinging her against the wall like a rag doll. She didn't move. The others fired. Plasma bolts lit up the darkness, but Grom was already among them. His claws tore through armor like paper. One poacher tried to flee, taking 3 steps before the Alpha's weight crushed him. Lyra bent over the cubs, shielding the youngest with her body, continuing to tear the net apart. The eldest, now braver with his father present, joined the fight, sinking his teeth into a poacher's leg. Within a minute it was over, 4 armed professionals destroyed. Grom stood amid the chaos, breathing heavily, his eyes scanning the area. Finding the threat gone, he turned to the cubs, then to Lyra. She remained still, exhausted. This moment defined everything. She had fought for his cubs with nothing but her fragile human body against armed killers. She bled for his family. Grom approached slowly. Warm breath washed over her face, carrying the scent of wild blood. Then, soft, unbelievably gentle for such a deadly creature, he touched his massive forehead to hers. A deep sign of respect among Felkars, a mark of pack membership. Lyra's eyes filled with tears. She did not hide them. Her adrenaline-shaking hands touched the scratched muzzle of the Alpha. "I'm sorry I couldn't do more," she whispered in their shared language of growls and emotions. Grom's response resonated in her bones. "You did everything." With the first rays of dawn, Lyra sat among the cubs, their warm bodies pressed against her. Leader Grom guarded the entrance. The poachers' bodies would be thrown far from the den, a warning to anyone who dared approach. The settlers would have questions. They wouldn't understand why Lyra chose to remain here among monsters, risking her life for beings not her own kind. But when the youngest cub nestled on her lap, purring in deep satisfaction at the safety she provided, Lyra understood one thing: family is not defined by species or DNA. Family is those you are willing to fight for.